as we continue our knowledge sharing mission through a series of interviews with marketing leaders from all over the world, I'm really thrilled to have Sam with me today.
Hi, my name is Sam and I'm CMO at BCB Group.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about your role at BCB Group at the moment?
Yeah, of course. So I've been here actually coming up 6 years now, and really been on an incredible sort of startup to scale up journey with BCB. So when I started, there were just 8 of us in one of the really sort of tiny cupboard offices on level 39 in Canary Wharf. And now we're 170, opening offices in Dubai soon, office in Paris, South Africa, and going for global domination. It's really exciting. But yeah, at the moment, we're really focused on, I guess, replanning our strategy for the final quarter of the year. So we've had an incredibly busy year, mainly around events, actually, that we find they work very well for us. So it's a lot of activity centered on that. And because of the way that the calendar's sort of fallen this year, the first half of the year was incredibly busy, almost like we didn't have time to breathe. So it's actually quite nice having a bit of time over the summer to think, okay, let's just regroup. What worked well, what didn't work so well, what was the ROI, then moving forward, what can we do better?
Yeah, I think we agree. It was so busy for us last month. I think we did 66 events. And now, like coming into July and August, it does kind of calm down a little bit for us, especially being in Europe. August is just holiday season for everyone. So everyone's great. So we'll get a little bit more into the company and the initiatives. I want to hear more about yourself, Sam. So how did you end up in marketing? How did you end up being a CMO? Obviously, you started 6 years ago, which is an amazing feat to be there. And from 8 people to now offices in Dubai and South Africa. So how did you get into marketing?
So my background is actually quite varied. So I actually started off more on the advertising side. So I was in outdoor, I was in press, I worked on the launch of Metro newspaper at the time. That was exciting, radio. And then I moved into more of a remittance apps and that type of thing and social content, and launched a small remittance app in emerging markets. And then the chairman of that business actually was opening a blockchain investment bank and advisory. And said to me, "Oh, Sam, why don't you come on in at this stage and get involved?" And that was sort of in the not early days of crypto, but reasonably early days of crypto. It's probably around about 2016. So that was great because I was working across the main brand of NKB Group as it was, also on portfolio companies. So working with them on their marketing strategies and PR strategies and community building and all that type of thing. And then as it worked out, one of those portfolio companies happened to be BCB Group. So I was loaned out to BCB to do a little bit of comms and stuff like that. And then I thought, hang on, I really like these guys. I really like where they're going. It's really dynamic, really fun, really, when you have one of those moments, it's almost a bit of like, these people are passionate about what they do. And I want to get on board with this. So that was it. That was it 6 years ago. So, and since then it's been a wild ride, but really good.
A bit of a trend that you're always sort of in at the early stage, like launching Metro and obviously joining, you're always sort of getting in, I guess, before it becomes trendy into doing it.
I think that's a really exciting phase on something, isn't it? That's why it's great.
It's kind of that like scary, exciting phase where, maybe no one's ever done it before. We don't know what's really going to happen, but it does give you, I guess, a lot of room to play when it comes to marketing and PR and comms, because it's never been done before. Well, let's kind of test everything out. So currently right now, I would be really interested to know I know you were saying you're planning for Q4. What is your main focus at the moment when it does come to marketing?
So I guess our main focus at the moment is really setting us up for our next stage of growth. So from the point of view, we're really motoring now, which is great. We've really sort of got our ducks in a line. We've really got a couple of very senior hires recently, really impressive. And we're really sort of making sure that we're positioned, as I say, well for this next stage of global growth. I think the thing is, as well, as we sort of motor towards things like a next fundraise and the interest level that's going to be shown with BCB at this stage, and so also the office in Dubai, as well as other things like sort of new product launches, etc. Just making sure that we have that consistent regulation first. Messaging across all of our platforms and really sort of evolve into more of a grown-up brand, I suppose, as well. That's the thing. I mean, this year we've done things like completely change the visual identity evolved that, launched a new website, and really try to be more innovative in what we do, but at the same time making sure that the whole industry understands that we do have these regulation first principles, and that's what we're based upon. So I guess it's sort of making sure all of that stays, but also with an eye on the future and where we're going and how the brand and the messaging and, you know, all of our positioning sort of reflects that next stage of our journey.
I guess that kind of moves nicely into what my next question would be is, what do you say the biggest challenge is for you, obviously in the space that you're in and setting up a banking license in Dubai and always being, you know, you're sort of going into a difficult space sometimes when it does come to marketing, because you have to be limited when it comes to regulations and things like that. So what is the biggest challenge you see for the next 6 months or the next 12 months?
For me personally, in my role, I'd say it's actually ensuring that we keep focused on the prize, on the North Star of the company. That's the thing, because you know what it's like as a marketer. You're constantly getting pulled in different directions and different people's priorities and all that type of thing. We are very cross-functional in marketing here. So we work closely with the product team, commercial teams, the CEO's office, you know, the work. So we've got everything going on, and it's literally thinking, okay, let's just take a step back, stay calm. What's our strategy? What are we going to stick to here? What have we got agreement on and approval on, and how we're going to run this? So we sort of have content pillars that we focus on.
Okay.
We've got everything set for the next quarter. I mean, it's good at the same time as sort of staying focused on this. It's also good, I always think, to remain flexible. So if something comes up, say there's a regulation piece or something that we need to be focused on, we can do that. We're agile, it's fine. But yes, it's sort of actually, do you know what the biggest challenge for me is? And then it's something that I think I've got better at over the course of this year, and that's saying no to people. You know what I mean? So, saying no, but I'm a bit of a people pleaser, so I like to sugarcoat things as well. So if it might be just a no for now.
I'm like, let's put a pin in it. And we'll put it there. I'm like, yeah, no. And I think our marketing team as well, things change and trends happen and things come up, and this event is happening and we need to jump on this. But I'm like, but these are our goals for the year. You know, we still have to always come back to, how is this helping me achieve the goal for the year? And if it's not, I can't give you someone from my team to work on this, unfortunately. Like, we just don't have capacity to do so. So no, appreciate that. Yeah, it's kind of the same. And it's funny, most CMOs say the same thing. It's like staying focused and, you know, not getting thrown something from the side from a CEO who has an idea, and trying to keep the boat going in where it needs to go. Okay, so you mentioned obviously you're quite agile and cross-functional. So for us I guess at Ortus, we're always interested to know, and how is your current marketing team's relationship with sales? And do the sales team kind of come to you with initiatives or ideas, and are they, you know, super grateful and super excited about what's happening?
And do you know what, actually, I've always been a real advocate for aligning sales and marketing as closely as possible, because it doesn't work otherwise. And it goes through tricky situations depending on what that sales team looks like, depending on what the marketing team looks like, depending on where you are as a business as well. I'd say actually we've never been better here. It's really, really good. We work really closely with sales, and we try and understand their objectives, their pain points, where they're, you know, we will literally sit down every week and have a call and just make sure that we understand what are clients asking them, you know, at the coalface type thing, and how can we help them with that sales enablement, with the answering those questions. You know, where are the pain points? You know, clients asking for explainers on stable coins or like a Mika thing. What are the key things that are coming through, and how can we help with that? That's really good. And as well as that as well, I think we've got a very good understanding now. The sales know what we're doing and trust us and value us, and vice versa as well. So, you know, they understand that the events that we've got planned, we know those work, because this isn't our first rodeo. We've been doing this for 6 years now, and we double down on what works. We know it, you know, we understand ROI on events and things. And I think actually across the business now as well, everybody values and understands marketing and what we do. So we're in a better position now than ever from the point of view of bringing people with us, people understanding that. I think that's some salespeople think they're marketers. Sometimes product people think they're marketers. They're not. In BCB now, they understand that we're the marketing department, but we listen to them and we like their ideas and we work together well, you know. So I guess it's all that really.
I guess, well, that's good. So you're saying you're in the best place you've ever been now with sales. Is there, in like the past 12 months, an initiative or an event you ran that was like, this was out of the park, sales are so happy with us, you know, and that's why you're at a good place?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably not one thing. I think probably the events, though, have been, testament to how good the relationship is, because we really work with them to understand, the customers who are going to be there, the opportunities that are going to be there, the themes that are on the ground. It's actually worked very well as we've sort of gone across this year, because what we do is sort of really have a day's briefing with the sales team for them to understand what we're seeing are going to be the key things at the event, things that they can talk about on the ground as well. And actually, I think they've been a lot more receptive to that this year because of the work we've put in on that. And it's been really useful to them. So, and then at an event, we've done a lot more with the sales team. So we've done things like interviews on the ground, clients and sales teams sort of face-offs, things like that, ask them for their daily comments, or we've drafted them for them so they get sort of thought leadership pieces. And we, I think they've got more involved and understand it more. This year at Money 2020, actually, which was a big Amsterdam event, you probably know, we had a meeting room rather than a stand on the floor. And that worked very well, but it did force us to be a bit more tactical about how we wanted to approach the whole thing. So it's not, you know what it's like. If you've got a stand, you're going to get a lot of passing traffic. It's a bit like, oh, we'll just turn up and we'll see how it goes. With a meeting room, because you're up on that sort of a balcony, it's amazing. You've got branding up there. You're up there with the big bank. So it's a really nice presence thing. But we actually had to think, okay, we've got to make the most of this. We want meetings in all the time. We're going to set interviews for this time. We're going to organise a branded happy hour with key clients who are coming along and that type of thing. So literally, it was really good from the point of view. A lot of people were saying on the floor that, oh, we had this stand, but it's a bit quiet there. If you're in control with this whole meeting room approach, actually it gives you an advantage over that. It sort of de-risks that, oh, it's a bit quiet on the floor that day and that type of thing.
Yeah. Or like, or if you get a booth at a quiet section, or you're at the end, or you're at the corner, you're not getting the foot traffic. But even if you are getting the foot traffic, maybe it's not the people that you want to speak to. Maybe you just have really cool swag and a nice stand and everyone wants to go look. But yeah, no. So I was at MWC this year, which is giant. We did notice a lot more clients just having meeting rooms as well. It seems to be a more of a trend to do it. That's interesting that you went with the meeting room. And it's nice, obviously, if you're on the balcony, visually you can still see you and you have that branding, but you do have to be really focused on driving people to the meeting room, which is nice. So you've mentioned it a couple of times already, so I'm interested. We're talking about ROI for events, and obviously it's very difficult to calculate because every event is different and maybe the goal of every event is different. So for me, I'd be interested to understand, how are you sort of calculating ROI for events, or how are you justifying a spend for an event at the moment?
So actually, we've got good at this year. It's been a bit of a struggle in the past, but we've sort of had a real tidy up of our CRM, so we can really understand now what going in at one end, what it's worth at the other end, which is really good, and sort of actually almost work out the cost per acquired user or acquired customer from that ROI spend and throughout. But I mean, in a nutshell, we can really say, okay, so those clients came in, or we're talking to those prospects, they are worth X in terms of monthly recurring revenue or subscription fees or transaction fees and all that type of thing. So can really literally put a figure on what each event is and across all events over the course of the year. So we can really understand what worked well. And the ones that are very, did work well tend to be the ones that we really had a focus ahead of, to make those sort of strategic meetings, key meetings in as well. Now, the thing is, although you can measure it to an extent, it's also hard as well from the point of view, there will be conversations that are started at some of these events that actually, might end up with a partnership in 2 years' time. But it's all that groundwork as well. Unfortunately, actually, everybody really understands that now here. It took a while to sort of educate and to get everybody on board with that. But, it's not just about, we've got a stand or we've got a meeting room. It's like, it's all about what goes on there. It's actually the bigger picture than that as well. And don't forget, it's our brand value there, our presence, our speaking slots, all the press we get to do around that, the partnership stuff, the side events, our name. That one of the biggest compliments somebody paid me this year, actually, after Paris Blockchain Week, was that BCB, you were just everywhere. I could just see you guys everywhere. So I was like, okay, my work is done. It's that anecdotal stuff as well that's really good,
Yeah, I mean, and then sometimes like we're, obviously with the events we talk about ROI and things like that, but then there's also like ROE, which is the new trend of like return on emotion, and how does someone feel about your brand, and maybe they don't need you now, but in a year's time they will, and will they think back and think positively or negatively about how they dealt with you at an event. So yeah, those things can be quite difficult to tangible. But I'm interested because you're talking about CRM. So do you have a marketing ops team, or are the sales team just really good with CRM hygiene?
It's a work in progress. So sort of look after it with sales, and it's account management are on there as well. It's quite helpful. We're actually going through a massive cleanup or further cleanup process and automation process at the moment with an external HubSpot guru, which is very good. We will be something we will be having internally, because I think it's absolutely essential, because otherwise it ends up with marketing or with sales, and you've got to do your day job as well as do all that crunching and tidying and all that type of thing.
And chasing and keeping track and making sure that it goes through. Yeah, you want the right person to be rewarded, and the marketing team are getting credit for it to be. It's funny when you said it's like, oh, we have it in CRM. I don't think I've spoke to a CMO who was happy with how their CRM hygiene or how their sales team updates their CRM. Everyone is like, it could be better. They're like, it's not bad, but it definitely could be better. And I think
I'm trying to be positive about it, because at the actually literally last week we had a workshop on it and got all the right people in the room, completely cracked it. It was 6 hours of hell talking about it, but it was good, and we really felt we made progress. And literally we're confident that by the end of Q3 we're just going to have everything tied up, segmented, and that feels really good. Got to believe.
That'll be nice. I'll set you up for Q4, for a busy Q4 quite well. So we'll kind of jump into a little bit more general in terms of the CMO role and marketing. So obviously you started 2016 is sort of when we were getting into crypto and things like that. So what advice would you give to someone who was starting now? Like, we're heading into 2026, so 10 years later, what advice would you give to someone that wanted to get into marketing now?
Oh, great question. I think I'd probably be inclined to really push the value and importance of networking. And certainly in my sector, that's something that's sort of easier to do and also returns more value. From the point of view, it's quite I've always been sort of say it's like a collegiate type of vibe in crypto and blockchain, because you get to know people and that people move around, but you always stay in contact and stay friendly pretty much, and you never know who's going to pop up somewhere. And that's really helped so much with things like partnership marketing, for instance. You know, you can really make a difference, and in terms of like supporting sales and things as well, in terms of like great leads and like the business as a whole. So that's absolutely vital. That would be the number one. So I think, you know, if you're starting out, get yourself out there to some of the free events that are on, or, you know, to conferences and all that type of thing. Really, you know, drill down on things like LinkedIn and like the influencers there and what they're saying, and get those sort of themes and conversations in your head. And then you can be out there talking about them. There are some really good podcasts and things out there actually as well, which are, I know that sounds a bit of oh god, another podcast, but honestly, it's been really helpful for me to sort of actually follow what you guys do. You know, it's great to get other people's views on what's happening, and really sort of you know, because it always resonates, and at the same time it's sort of like you might get a little nugget of inspiration and think, oh, I hadn't thought of that. So I think that's good. It's almost not being too proud to think, oh, I can talk to other people and get other people's ideas. And it's again, I think that's testament to crypto, though, because it feels like it's a real ecosystem and everybody's there to sort of support the whole and make it bigger and better for everybody as we move on. I
think so. I used to actually work in cybersecurity myself before I moved here. And a lot of my clients were in the crypto space, and they, exactly like you said, they would just move from one crypto company to another, and it was all still sort of the same names and the same companies, but they were all just changing intermittently all the time. You know, if people post at Money 2020, I'm like, I know 90% of these people that are there. I'm like, they're still working in it, just in a different company. I'm the one who went left field and completely changed. Okay, so what do you think is the biggest opportunity that CMOs have now, or marketers have now, that might not have been available? I know we're talking about networking and podcasts and being able to sort of educate yourself and enrich yourself much more easily now, but is there an opportunity that you think didn't exist you know, when you were getting started, and you're a little bit jealous that it's there?
Boring and obvious, but it's AI, you know. And although I'm not wedded to AI, I think it has some really amazing sort of uses for us. I mean, particularly from a marketing point of view, I guess we use it more than anything to sort of almost like give us a starter for 10 on ideas and things. It's useful almost. It's like a little bounce around thing. I always say I find it's a little bit like a little helper that just sort of sits in the the corner sometimes. You're just a bit stuck and you think, oh, okay, I'm just going to bung that in just to see. And then what we'll do in the marketing team, we'll each go to a different AI. I'll use ChatGPT, somebody else will use Gemini. We'll like come together. It's like, okay. And like literally probably wouldn't use anything that started out of the AI, but it could take us in a direction. So it's great for that whole sort of brainstorming moment.
I think, yeah, staring at a blank page is quite daunting.
Yeah.
But AI kind of gives you that, and it's easier to start. I can type it into ChatGPT and something will come out. And maybe it just confirms that I was thinking in the right direction or that I wasn't, which is always nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will ask you if you can describe the role of a CMO in one word. What would it be and why? Which is quite a difficult one, I appreciate.
So I'd say something around integrator, because it's very much sort of aligning so much across the company. So you're aligning with, the brand, the customer experience and journey, the messaging, the product, commercial sales, etc., and actually also compliance in my case, and legal and regulation, and bringing all that in. So it's very much something that sort of sits visual thing right there, and then everybody else is sort of like feeding into it and we're feeding back out. So it's sort of something that integrates everything else in the company and brings it all together.
Nice. I haven't had that one before, so that's nice. Okay, my last question: what do you think the future of marketing looks like? Maybe in the crypto space or just generally?
I think the future of marketing is going to continue to be something that's very close to my heart, and that's always about content. I think it's that whole thing of getting the right content out to the right people at the right time. There's a surplus of content, isn't there, everywhere. But if it's pitched right and is right and answers people's questions at the right time in either the user journey or their life or whatever, I think that's what the focus has got to be, and will continue to be for us at BCB Group.
Nice. Perfect.